well, we've got our new vegetable garden going this year. So excited. We are novices at this kind of thing right now. So, but I've got some cabbage here that I grew out in a salad container for the winter sowing method. I've got some Swiss chard that I put in the ground just a few weeks ago. I also winter sowed those as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the ground now. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these cabbage seedlings out. And you can see I've got some root mass under here, so I'm going to gently break these apart. I'm just gently teasing those roots apart. And I could, if I wanted to, I could just leave these seedlings in that clump and just cut them off. That's another way to do it. Alright, so we'll grab some water and water these in real quick. Alright, just a quick update. The cabbage I've got in the ground now, I've got 9 heads here and I've got 6 more on the other side over there. All of these seeds came from Dollar Tree. The cabbage seeds, the rainbow Swiss chard, they're doing really well. The broccoli seeds came from Dollar Tree as well. The lettuce did not come from Dollar Tree, but the French breakfast radish did come from Dollar Tree. And I planted those 2 weeks ago. And you can see how well the plants are doing. And I just put in some green leaf lettuce here from Dollar Tree. I put 2 rows here. And I just added 3 more rows of the radish, which is called succession planting, because these will be ready a couple of weeks before the rows I just put in right here. Some more Dollar Tree seeds that are doing well. This is kale, and they're large plants, so I only have 5 plants in the ground right now. Dollar Tree seeds do work out really well. You're going to be a little bit more limited on the variety that you can get, but some of the most common stuff they're going to have, and the seeds really do produce well. So I'm a believer, and I think you'll do fine. You can do these in containers, do them in the ground, do them in raised beds like I have here. A lot of ways to do it. This is mainly cool season plants that we're getting in the ground now, but we'll have peppers, tomatoes, beans, things like that going in the ground very soon. Now these seed potatoes are doing very well. I've got about 3 different varieties in 15-gallon bags. I have 5 15-gallon bags I put seed potatoes in, and they're coming up. I just planted these in 2 weeks ago, and you can see they're starting to emerge. Some of them have already come up out of the soil pretty well. Now, one of the things I'll be doing here, I filled these up about half full of compost, but I will be adding more compost as these leaves develop. I'll be adding more compost and making this deeper. That way the stalks will continue to produce more and more potatoes at different depths of the bag. Other garden updates. Daffodils are in full bloom. This is the new island bed we had developed last year. That's continuing to develop. More daffodils. I've got the Dollar Tree cages over the top of collard plants, and I'll let you see where they are, how we're protecting those little collard plant seedlings. But I've just kind of done these in a foodscaping fashion, so they're mixed in with landscape plants, with bachelor button. Larkspur is coming up like crazy right now. Again, this is foodscaping. This is incorporating food into the landscape, because a lot of times we don't utilize space that we have in our landscape, and we can plant a lot more densely and use the landscape beds that we have to grow food. I've got these in here with double file viburnum. They're in full bloom. And it's just one of our favorite viburnums. The bed is under development. A lot of new stuff in here, a lot of immature plants. But I've got a camellia here. I cannot remember the variety. It's actually on the tag. I planted this over the winter. Here are you. Vernalis. Camellia vernalis. I've also just put a dappled willow in the ground yesterday. That's one that I had grown out from a cutting. And then this is one of my favorite spring plants. This is the Chinese snowball viburnum. This plant I took off of that one way over there. I'll try to zoom in so you can see that. That one is a large one. I planted that in 2015. But the way I grew this small one here is through a method called layering. When I planted the original shrub in the ground in 2015, I took a low-lying branch down at the bottom, and I basically scarred an area along the bottom of the stem, not while it was in flower, but I scarred the bottom of the stem and then put it down on the ground and then tacked it down. I think at that time I actually used a large rock, and I just left it, completely forgot about it. And 2 years ago, I realized I had a shoot that was coming out from the main plant that looked like it was on its own. And then I realized it was the one I had tacked down years ago. So I cut off the main stem from the mother plant, and what had tacked to the ground had rooted in really well. So I dug it up in the winter time, dormancy time, fall or winter, and planted this. And so 2 years later, this is what we have. And it is magnificent. It's not a hydrangea. Spring blooming snowball, Chinese snowball viburnum. And it's beautiful, man. It's a showstopper. And it will get quite large. It can get 15, 20 feet tall. Got to do some weeding underneath. But just a absolutely gorgeous plant. Had a little bit of frost damage, and that's been one common thing with this plant. We get some late freezes at times, and when that happens, you'll get a little bit of burn on some of the blooms that are already opened up. But this will also bloom again in the fall. It will get a more flat shaped white bloom in the fall. So you do get another blooming season out of this. It's not much to look at in the fall as far as fall color, but an excellent landscape plant for the spring, and does great as a privacy plant as well. You can incorporate it in with other plants to give you more privacy.